Hey everybody, this is Everyday Commentary, and this is a video overview of this knife. And this knife is the Spyderco Brouwer. This is a small everyday carry knife designed by a Dutch knife maker, Brouwer, and produced in collaboration with Spyderco. And so I'm going to go through the specs, talk a little bit about the materials, and then I'm going to tell you what I like and don't like. So on this side, as you can tell, it's a green G10. Unfortunately, this is the racing green G10, which is usually reserved for ZDP 189 Spyderco. So the fact that this is an S30V Spyderco, I'd much rather have the ZDP 189. Anyway, on the other side, as you can see, there's bleed blasted titanium, and I've already got some snail trails started on this one. So this is a knife that I carried pretty frequently when I first got it, which was about, I think it was like the third day it was out. But as you can tell, I have replaced the Spyderco clip because here's the clip that it came with the knife. And as you can see, it would be huge in this knife. By the way, this is the Spyderco clipper tool. I'll review this in a minute. But this knife, the spoon style clip extended well down to the, almost to the lock bar. As you can tell, this is a frame lock, and this is a, it opens quite nicely. The action on the pivot is wonderful. This is a blade, and I believe the blade comes in at right around just over, so the sharp end edge probably comes in at 2.5, and then the blade to the handle comes in just under 3. This is a really nice size knife for everyday carry. The blade steel is S30V, and this is, as you can see right there, Taichung, Taiwan. So, very well made knife, very nice knife. The choice of the clip I'll get to in a minute. There is a over travel stop and a replaceable stop lock bar interface. Though, really, how many people have ever replaced them, and what happens in 10 years when they don't make them anymore? So I don't really consider these to be all that big a deal. The bigger function is that they function as a lock stop, as you can see right there. So let's show you a little size comparison. This is the Brouwer compared to the Benchmade Mini Grip. As you can see, the Benchmade Mini Grip is almost exactly the same size in terms of handle. But if you line up pivot to pivot, you can see that the Benchmade is no, not considerably, but it's a definitely a longer blade, and I'll get to that in a minute. Let's see what it looks like in comparison to the Mini Grip in terms of thickness. As you can see, the thickness there is not all that bad. The Mini Grip is a little thicker, but only because the blades, the handles are rounded. And then here's the knife in comparison to regular old AA battery. It's thicker than a AA battery, and it's considerably taller than a AA battery. So, what do I think? Well, first of all, as an everyday carry knife, this is really excellent, especially once equipped with the Lynch pocket clip, this is a Casey Lynch pocket clip, but it's really, really good. The spring tension on these things is just marvelous. They're relatively easy to put in, and it's deep carry, so the clip is great. But the clip did not come on the knife. So what do I like about the knife? First of all, I really, really, really like the opening action. This is the best deploying Spyderco I've ever owned. It fires out of there like a rocket. And similar to the Taichung, Taiwan made Spyderco Techno that I had, which really, really came out of the handle quite nice and easy. Over and over again, this knife never fails to come out. You give it a little tap, overcome the detent, and it comes right out. The other thing that I really like is I like the overall shape. If you notice, this knife is pretty much a Spyderco Strider PT. If the back portion flared out a little bit more, we'd have almost exactly the same knife, although the choil on the Strider was a half and half choil as opposed to this one, which is a full forward choil. It's forward of the handle. It's really great in the hand, as you can see. You get a nice full 4-finger grip. I also like the fact that the knife isn't all that tall. If you compare it to something like the Centofonte 3, which is another knife that's on the table for review, it is significantly smaller in height than the Centofonte 3. This is one of the narrowest Spydercos ever. It's a humpless design, and they did this cutout here, which not only gives you access to the lock bar, but it also still gives you access to the hole, because really all you're doing here is just tapping the top of the hole and the thing pops open. So I really like the size, I really like the shape, I like the finger choil, I really like the way that the knife deploys. One other thing that I really like this blade and the blade shape and the blade stock. I'm not normally a thick stock kind of guy. As you can see, that's pretty thick. Let's put it up against the Spyder or the. See, it's thicker than the Benchmade mini grip, and it's way thicker than the Super Mega Slicey. I mean, look at that. You know, the Senafonte 3 is a longer knife, a taller knife, and it's thinner blade stock, means this thing slices like a deli slicer. But as an everyday carry knife, it's not necessarily the case that all you're going to do is slice. I mean, you do a lot of slicing. You slice open boxes, cut up food, but sometimes you need to do things that require a little bit more pressure. And I really like the fact that this thick blade stock gives you the ability to do that. This is one of those knives that can be pressed into a lot of different roles. So I like the blade shape because it's very utilitarian, and I like the blade stock. It's a little thicker, but it still gets tapered down quite nicely. Spyderco, especially the Taichung Taiwan factory, does a really good job of putting good edges. So this is a great knife in terms of the blade and blade shape. So things that I don't like. Obviously, I really dislike the clip, which is why it's gone. The other thing that I don't like is this is a $174, $175 knife at street price. And S30V, while a decent steel, it's fine. This is just not anywhere near par. So like, again, let's go back to the comparison to the Benchmade mini grip. The Benchmade mini grip is the same price, and it runs 20 CV, which is a significantly better steel than S30V. In particular, I hate sharpening S30V. I much prefer sharpening the 20 CV. I prefer sharpening this over just about any of the super steels. This is probably my favorite super steel to sharpen. So you're not really getting a great value there. If this knife came with better steel, I would be really stoked. As it is, it's a great user. It's a great knife to toss in your pocket. If you can get over the price and the steel, and you're not bothered by the clip, or you're willing to swap out the clip, you'll be happy with this knife. It's just not going to score well because of how expensive it is, and because of the fact that the steel is a little bit below par for this price point. So look for a review coming soon, and this is the overview of the Spyderco Brouwer.